here we have a real treat. This is the Solaris 111 from Performance Boats in Forley, which is an absolute stunner of a design. And we've been given the chance to look over it here at the Cannes Boat Show. And there's a lot of it to get over as well. First thing you'll probably notice is the extraordinary amount of deck space. Okay, actually this will be the first thing you notice. The aft beach terrace. The aft beach terrace accessed for the owner's aft cabin. So it's a very specific custom yacht, and the owner wanted all this space aft, complete privacy from the crew. And so you have just an incredible amount of space here. 7.8 meters of beam and 7.6 meters of it is brought right aft here. Again, like the other Solaris in the range, Soto Asabel design, performance hull shape. And this is a 75-ton performance design. 25 tons of it in the telescopic keel. And it's very modern Italian aesthetic, loads of lounging space, very, very clean decks, but mixed with sort of more classic coach roof shape there. A bit more of a deck house to it. So the owner had the Solaris 72 deck house before, and he wanted that sort of concept with this one as well. So a mix of the clean aesthetics with a whole load of performance. That there is a 50-meter ultra high modular Southern Spars rig with EC6 carbon rigging as well. So there's a hell of a lot of horsepower on this boat, but it's relatively manageable sail power as well. So the mainsail and the self-tacking jib are on Magic Trim hydraulic systems. So that means that the single point main sheet comes through the boom, goes below deck into the bilges, onto hydraulic cylinder into the bilges, which controls that. That gets rid of any sheets necessary for that. And the jib system as well, that there's coming into this self-tacking track below the decks and then out to a single point at the back end of the coamings of this coach roof. And on the other side you can probably just see the jib sheet is on the self-tailer. But by being on a Magic Trim system, which means a long cylinder under deck in here, means the jib can be eased at the push of a button. So no one even have to touch the jib, like the Wally systems of old. Very, very clean. Look at this foredeck space. It is enormous. Plethora of flush hatches up here, which only really leaves point for the inner stay there, recessed away. And then the crew access and the recess furler for the self-tacking jib there. Again, recessed for code 0. All titanium fittings, all very, very clean indeed. So this is, as I say, built by Performance Boats in Forley. Deck design and the interior design done by Carlo Torres, MIT. Titanium fittings, and then there's the foredeck hatch here. Super lightweight, everything is pre-preg carbon, hence that light displacement. And you come into a little bosun's locker, and the anchor locker in there with the submarine anchor below. Super clean pad-eye, titanium stanchions, chain plate fittings. And look at the amount of lounging space. It's so easy to walk around the boat. Nice deep wells with lift up sole panels there for the helmsman. You may feel a little bit like he's playing the keyboard, but see the controls there for everything, push button, including for the keel. So 4 to 6 meter draft APM telescopic keel. And what that also means that the trunk itself is not impacting interior space. So once we go through this huge cockpit area, the starboard table of which drops down, we'll have a look at the interior layout, which is so customizable, thanks basically to that aft cabin area, beach terrace area, and the telescopic keel not impacting interior space too much. Moving on into the saloon, which is a raised saloon, so couple of steps down each side, and that means that there's this raised platform, so there's plenty of space for the engine room below here, which I'll try and show you as well. But I mean, a pretty inviting and large area to relax for owner and guests, and to eat. So you can see from the saloon that telescopic keel is really not impacting any of the layout space at all, really. So the steps lift for access into the engine room when the owner's not on board or not using it. You come down here and you have a play area. It can be a breakfast table, can be a mess area, could be a little cinema room. Adaptable area before you can move on forward into the third guest cabin. And this one is slightly different from the other two in that it has a drop down bunk to it as well. Oh, I could get used to walking on cashmere carpet. From the saloon, you get to the mast base area, you move to starboard side, and this seals off the guest and crew area. So we move into down here for engine room access and the laundry. Close that door off, sealed away from all the guest accommodation. There's the mast base and into the galley and mess area. So CeFeA is crewed by 5, a skipper and 4 crew, and seems to me plenty spacious enough. This walnut finish continued in here, little mess area, and then you move forward to the skipper's cabin to starboard, and 2 crew cabins up forward with their own private access in there as well, down to the Pullman cabin. So it really is very well thought out for keeping the owner and crew segregated as well as possible. Let's drop down here quickly into the engine room. So a little tunnel through here where you've got twin washing machines. Into the brightly lit and near full beam engine room. So this really is sitting headroom in here, but very well organised and cleanly laid out for an engineer to service. So there you have the 3 power packs for the hydraulics. The AC system's over there, and that above is the hatch access from the saloon, and the water makers and the filters. 430 horsepower main engine, and the stern gear going out there, and then a genset to starboard with a PTO on it. So moving aft into the guest accommodation, you have a day heads, which is a great addition here, so people don't have to disturb these lovely, luxurious, huge guest cabins. And when I say huge, I mean look at the size of this double. I mean, it's a queen and some. What you won't be able to see on this video is you won't be able to feel it. It's all about the textures. Everything's so tactile. So Alcantara fabrics on here, it's a cashmere carpet, believe it or not. Even the walnut veneers are super smooth satin on them. The design is fantastic. It's well, I think it is modern, but it's also been finished to give that design credit. It really shows Performance Boat's 25 years of building high-end custom yachts. They built a lot of Wallies, and you know, for Solaris's first super yacht, it's sensational. So massive stowage in here as well, but just really, really neatly done. Same on the port side as well. Twin on this side. And then moving aft, this is what it's all about. Now remember, this is a 111, but there is, to my knowledge, not another yacht with this much owner's suite space. Certainly not one with a mast on it. This is a 40-meter squared suite with twin ensuite heads. It's just astonishing, the amount of space and natural light in here. And this is really where the concept all began. For the owner of the boat to be totally segregated from the crew, to be able to wake up and look aft and be able to move out through his and hers own companionway access to that 40-meter squared beach terrace back there is really something utterly unique. While we're in here, here's the heads and shower area. On the starboard side. And leather handrails everywhere as well. Very nicely done. So let's try and give you this experience. You wake up, you walk out here, open it up, you don't have to see anyone or talk to anyone, up the stairs and out onto another 40 metres squared of private deck space. Even a little sunken cockpit here which helps allow for that light to get into that aft guest owner's suite. And as the owner said, you know, when you're walking along, when you're motoring along, you'd be looking forward over the crew, or the crew would be looking forward over you in the guest cockpit there. But here, totally separate, totally private, and there's still room for a large Williams jet tender to live underneath this terrace as well. Now I'm quite satisfied that I will never have the money to afford this, but what a sensational space, really. It was 25 years ago, I think, that Wally began the aft beach terrace with Tickety Tan, but modern hull shapes, this has at least twice, I would guess, maybe more than twice the volume of that. To have an owner's aft cabin with this much beam is just, yeah, it's extraordinary. And there is another benefit of modern delta hull shapes.